Okay, y'all, welcome back to the program, Oswego Lake, cooking at Oswego Lake Country Club. All right, I want to talk to you guys about al dente. Okay, al dente, there's a big misconception about what al dente means. So it means to the tooth, and it's about the texture that we put into a dough when we make a dough. And that really has nothing to do with undercooking pasta. You know, if that's the way you like to eat your pasta, that's fine. I'm not going to stop you guys. But I do think that the term al dente is very important. So it comes from the way we work our dough. So this is our cavatelli dough that we've made. And we basically just work and knead it to a point where the protein molecules start to form a web and they start to get difficult. And you can see when I pull it apart, it gets it's very difficult to pull apart. If you have a dough that's like really kind of crumbly and doesn't really come apart very well, well, see, that's what's going to give you like a not very good al dente, a mushy pasta. This pasta is going to be very difficult to make mushy because we got a lot of texture. Again, protein molecules working that gluten and strengthens the dough in general. Okay, so now we'll step over here and I'll show you guys the cook. So, all right, so when you guys cook this pasta, this cavatelli is a little thicker and the noodle has a lot of texture, so therefore it's about probably 8 minutes in a nice salted boiling water. And if you can see, when we take it apart and we open it up, there's no white. Okay, so like if you see like a raw white kind of dough inside of there, that means it's undercooked. And this still has plenty of texture, but it's cooked all the way through, if you can see on that noodle. This looks like cooked dough. So what we're gonna do is, the last thing I wanna do, so this is gonna be an al dente noodle. Okay, it's gonna have a nice toothsome kind of feel. Now what I wanna do is I just wanna show you guys the sauce consistency. So this is very important. We're using butter. A couple things about this. I come from a school of thought where I like to put the butter in the beginning. It's very anti-French technique, you know, when they say mounting butter, it always comes at the very, very end in residual heat. I like to hold that heat. The gluten of the noodle, I like to cook the entire noodle down in the sauce. That in turn thickens up your sauce and also helps to keep your emulsification together. So the important part, you guys have a nice amount of butter. I know it seems like a lot, but trust me, that is your sauce. It is stock and butter. I'm just doing this with pasta water and butter. I just want to get you guys the idea of forming, I just want to form kind of like these slow bubbles. And it's going to be very much like if you guys have ever caramelized sugar or made any kind of candy with sugar, the bubbles are going to slow down. They're going to get more space, more tinier and all that kind of stuff. Move kind of slower, and then that in turn is going to be our emulsification, okay? One important thing always in the beginning, in a perfect world, you'll never have to season this pasta. You'll always be able to get enough out of your seasoned water. But, you know, just make sure you kind of like taste it right away and kind of see where you're at as far as seasoning wise. Remember, you are reducing, so you don't want to season it all the way at the beginning because you will be able to easily over season it. As your pasta water reduces and it's seasoned, remember, it'll get more intensified. If not, if you do need to season, you want to make sure you just get a little bit of salt in at the end, in the beginning. And the sooner you introduce that salt, the better off you're going to be, okay? Now, if you come in here closer, there starts to be these bubbles. See these little bubbles right here? So that's our emulsification starting, okay? So this is what we want. Kind of big bubbles, slow bubbles, nice emulsified sauce, okay? And then the good thing to do is just a little bit of extra liquid, and then you can just hit your little bit of cheese in there. And then we just kind of like toss that. Okay, and now we got this nice emulsified coating the noodle sauce. And if you need to, no problem, to just hit a little pasta water in there just to kind of get your sauce consistency back. So you see, now what I want to do is if I move up, I want the sauce to stick onto the pasta, but I also want it to kind of run down the side, okay? So see how it's like kind of thick in the pan? Make sure when you plate it, you put all that stuff on your pasta. That's the good stuff. Pasta cooking 101.